Mila my August Amigwek Ditsa Amanda August Ireland's Future-Todhchaí na hÉireann mar hug shibsha Sean Sogumsa a conscience shaw an oct. So thanks to Ireland's Future, to our T, to Amanda for moderating these discussions, and to other speakers for taking part. And I want to commend the work of Ireland's Future, and also the other work that's been done within academia and people in the media, and the whole range of, I suppose, folks that are coming forward and giving us thoughtful work on what the future might look like and how we might get to whatever future we might get to. But I thought I would just start by reflecting briefly on where we are. So in this part of Ireland, we have no political authority to gather taxes, to set foreign policy, to determine public policy on many, many important issues. Even if the Assembly was in place tomorrow, we wouldn't have that authority. We're governed by London, which has little concern for us. And some of us aren't that enamored by London either. So well, why should we put up with this? I know there's a whole history behind it, but why should we? Why do we allow ourselves to be governed by others whom we can't even sack? Whatever about the rights or wrongs of a government here, at least you can get rid of it if you don't like it. So, and why should we put up with sectarianism, with the refusal by some to accord citizens their rights, and then all the ups and downs of the local assembly and the efforts to undermine agreements like the Good Friday Agreement, which citizens have endorsed? And in my strong view, it doesn't have to be like this. Okay? Just let's start off on that proposition. It doesn't have to be the way it is at the moment. And we do have the right to self-determination. That is part of the Good Friday Agreement, and that does need to be implemented. And the recent local government election was a good day for United Irelanders. The results saw the number of pro-unity voters in an election in the north outnumber the number of pro-union voters. And that is an important development, but it's only one step along a path which must include those who favour unity, persuading those who don't, or those who are ambivalent, persuading them that unity is the right outcome. And that's a big job of work. And crucially, it means planning. It won't happen just because some of us think it's the right outcome. Change is happening. Sometimes you don't see it. It just creeps up on you, but change is happening. And more change is on the way. And it is important that unionists are involved in this. So let's be very, very clear. Speaking as an Irish Republican, unionists have a place of right on this island. Unionists have a place as of right in the new Ireland. And we want them to be part of what we collectively create. And the union's population and its political representatives, working with the rest of us, is the surest guarantee that their cultural identity, British and unionist, will prosper and be protected in a new Ireland. And the safeguards that are in the Good Friday Agreement with respect to identity, the cultural and language rights will continue beyond the union. So the DUP obviously should take its place in the executive with the other parties. And for us in Sinn Féin, there's no contradiction. We believe that for us, working with the unionists in the Assembly and with the other parties and independents, it's all part of working towards a new agreed Ireland. But let's be very clear, we have our work cut out. We know at this point that the British and the Irish governments are against constitutional change and against the referendums. And so are the unionist parties. And there are many reasons for this. For example, the British government is obviously a unionist government. It wants to maintain the union. And the Irish government is worried about any national realignment of politics in the time ahead, in which establishment parties will lose their dominance. But notwithstanding this and notwithstanding these challenges, our efforts must be focused on challenging the Irish and British governments with the demand for the setting of a date for the referendums. And we must also encourage the governments, and the Irish government in particular, to prepare for the unity referendums and for a successful outcome. But the Irish government not to be doing any preparatory work whatsoever. I know the Shared Island Unit, and I applaud the work of the Shared Island Unit is put forward as an indication of seriousness by the government, but they're actually putting it forward as an alternative to properly planning. All the Shared Island Unit can continue with its work. At the same time, all of the other preparatory work should be going ahead. And the Irish government has chosen to reject any proposals, including the establishment of a citizens or a series of citizens' assemblies to facilitate discussion and to plan for the future. Now, we're not arguing that the Citizens' Assembly or assemblies should have the sole responsibility to plan for the future. That's not our position. But they do have a very, very important role to play because they bring citizens in. It's a very good process of participatory democracy. And they also allow experts and others who have either big concerns or a specialism on some issue to come and tease it out. And they're all about informing people. It's to avoid the Brexit factor, that people are fully informed of all the yeses and nos and all of the potentials. And we must remind Dublin again and again that the Good Friday Agreement created a mechanism for constitutional change. And it was overwhelmingly endorsed by the people in referendums north and south. It isn't up to a government to gainsay that. The Irish government, and I remember arguing this 30, 40 years ago, has a constitutional obligation to prepare for unity. Added to that, it's a co-guarantor of the Good Friday Agreement. So we believe that the Irish government should establish a citizens' assembly to begin the work of planning. We also would argue that the British government and the Irish government should agree a firm date for a unity referendum. And we're not saying this should take place immediately. In fact, we're saying it should take place as part of the process of planning. So you do all the planning, you do all the discussion, you do all the scoping out, the potential. And then at the end of that process, you have your referendum. Because obviously, for those of us who want a referendum, want to win it. We just don't want to have a referendum for nothing. We want to win it. And therefore, we would want to be having the referendum at a time when it's most likely to win, but also at a time when we can progress, where we can ease into a united Ireland, where the vast majority of people seamlessly would feel rightly to be part of all of that process. So that's that. We might in the discussion tease out some of these issues. So once again, I just want to thank you all for being here in such a fine evening, and thank Ireland's Future for the opportunity to speak to you.